4 candidates with us tonight. Let me go through the format briefly. They each have the opportunity for an opening statement of 2 minutes in length. We go to the question and answer period where the representatives from the press, Bob Couture from the Tri-State Gazette and Paul Lester from WDLC, will present questions to our candidates, and following that period, we go to a 2-minute final closing statement. We had a drawing of numbers out of a hat, the proverbial hat, and we will start with Carmen Chuck Briscoe with an opening statement, if you would please.
My name is Carmen Briscoe, better known as Chubb. I do not whisper, Richie, and I am my own man. I've been married to Mary Stone for 41 years and have 2 sons, Carmen and George, who were both raised in Port Jervis, in West End. I graduated from Port Jervis High School, class of 1944. Upon graduation, I entered the United States Navy and spent 2 years in service, 18 months overseas. I was a Little League coach for 7 years, helping to erect a building that has a refreshment stand and meeting room. In later years, I was the City Adult Softball League Commissioner. After the flood of 1981, I organized a group of players and rebuilt the West End field without any cost to the city of Port Jervis. One person can't do things alone. There was a lot of help, especially from Jerry Cheshire, Bob Cotticini, and Bill Collins. I am also a self-employed carpenter with over 30 years of experience in the building trade. With this knowledge, I can be of great help in several areas of city business. I am greatly interested in what is happening to Port Jervis, having lived here for over 60 years. I think that we need a blue-collar viewpoint on the council. We should do more for the people that lived here for years, support local business, and above all, we should not forget the young people. Without them, there is no future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chuck Briscoe. Let's turn now to one of the Democrats, Jim Whalen.
Good evening. My name is James Whalen, and I'm a Democratic candidate for the council in the first ward. I find campaigning for the position very difficult. If you will bear with me, I will try to outline the reasons I feel qualified to continue as your councilman. As with many of my contemporaries, I am a veteran of World War II, having served 5 years, 1 month, and 9 days in the United States Navy. My wife Agnes and I were married in 1944. We have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. Upon discharge from the Navy in 1946, I went to work in a store fixture business and eventually became a manager partner. After purchasing a retail store in downtown Port Jervis in 1955, we moved into the first ward. My career in the post office began in 1963. I worked every position in the local post office, retiring in 1983 after serving as 7 years as postmaster. Since then, I've been active serving as a civil service commissioner, housing authority member, many ad hoc committees, church work, and since January of this year, as councilman from the first ward. As postmaster, it was my responsibility to prepare and implement the budget, determine the necessary personnel, negotiate local labor agreements, and many other activities similar in nature to the everyday functions of the city of Port Jervis. This prior experience in business and management has well prepared me to serve as your councilman. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim Whalen. Before I continue, let me just remind our candidates that while I can pick you up the way the mics are, it's helpful to just direct the mic directly towards you. It'll make things just a little bit clearer. So Harry Tidd, who's coming up next, will just turn that toward you. That's all that really has to be done each time. Let's go to our next candidate, and that is Republican Harry Tidd.
Hello, my name is Harry Tidd, and I'm running for councilman in the first ward. I am 44 years old. My wife and best friend, Andrea, and I have been married for 23 and a half years. We have 2 children, Harry Jr., who is 22, and Samantha, who is 17. I've lived in Port Jervis all my life, as has my father before me and his father before him. For 30 of my 44 years, I've lived in the First Ward. I lived for 10 years in the lower end of the acre at 69 King Street. I was living there when the flood came in 1955, and I saw my house completely underwater. So I know firsthand the problems facing that section of the First Ward. The residents of the acre have been through a lot in the past 35 years, but because they are a strong-willed group of people, they have not only endured great hardship and devastation, they have made the acre a great place to live and raise a family. I feel that Mr. Roberts and Mr. Clune, instead of trying to disrupt the acre with their proposed recreation park, should concentrate their efforts on trying to solve the flooding problem that exists there, and then move forward with the plans for the recreation park. Assessing priorities is an important part of running a city. For the past 18 years, I have lived at 5 Garrett Street in West End. Here again is a nice residential section of the city that is being disrupted by Mr. Roberts and Mr. Clune. We have the industrial park in our backyards, which could have been a great asset to the city had it been developed with foresight instead of hindsight. But it wasn't, so the residents of West End are having their lives disrupted with an ever-increasing traffic problem and the threat of having tractor-trailer trucks traveling up and down practically every side street in the neighborhood. Another problem facing the residents of not only West End, but the entire city, is the proposed sewage treatment plant in Westfall Township. If our city government tackles this problem in the same manner that they tackle the other major issues in Port Jervis, we will be back to where we were a few years ago with our air and our water polluted. I know that I don't want to go through another 75 years of trying to correct a problem that it could have been corrected before it became a problem. I've never been involved in politics, and I'm not a politician, but I know that a city government that is run just to make their record look good without any regard for the effect it has on its citizens is wrong. If you agree with this, then your choice is clear. Vote row B, vote Republican.
Okay, Harry Tidd, thank you. Let's turn now to Democrat Mike McCarthy.
Good evening. It has been a privilege and an honor to serve the First Ward of our city for the past 6 years. As in past campaigns, I make no promises. I do, however, pledge to continue to give you, the voters of First Ward, the professional, caring representation on the Common Council you so richly deserve. During this campaign, my opposition has come out with some statements that, to me, are a little bit vague. They state that they will guarantee the fresh air we now enjoy. Please, ask them how. Then ask me how, because I worked long and hard to get that fresh air, and I intend to see it stay fresh. They have also come out against the proposed recreation complex in the Riverside section, which will use grant funding. Ask them if they realize that this type project is not only acceptable, but it is recommended for use in a floodplain. This city, using the same type funding, built a smaller complex in an area that floods every year, namely West End Beach. This ball field and playground are used year after year. In my opinion, the main issue in any campaign should be the health, welfare, and safety of all citizens. Affordable taxes to allow our senior citizens who have paid their dues to enjoy their retirement years. Enhancing the opportunities of the young to keep them in our city. And instilling the pride of our city in our middle-aged citizens. A look at my record over the past year will show that I have been working towards these goals. I have always taken a great deal of pride in my city and its people. I fully intend, in my small, humble way, to continue to enhance the quality of life in Port Jervis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike McCarthy. So let's go now to the second phase of our program, and that is questions from the press. Let's start out with Bob Couture of the Tri-State Gazette. Bob, the first question directed to Chuck Prisco.
Mr. Prisco, you attended many of the council meetings at which a solution to the silver plate factory situation were discussed. What eventually happened is that building was in fact removed and replaced by housing. Do you feel that the solution to that long-time problem was an adequate one? And if not, what would you have preferred to see go there rather than the housing?
I think it's ended up very good. I didn't like the way it was done at first, but right now I have nice neighbors, which I could have had bad neighbors, but I was lucky to have good ones. And there was a lot of controversy because I don't think the city had anything to do with it. They had public hearing, but I didn't think they did anything else. Don Hunt bought the Silver Plate building, sold it to Ray Ryder, and Ray Ryder demolished it.
Jim Whalen, any comment?
No, I think getting rid of the Silver Plate building was a great asset for West End. And I think that happened under a Democratic administration.
Okay, Harry Tidd?
I have nothing wrong with, basically with the way the Silver Plate problem was taken care of, with possibly the exception that, as to best of my knowledge, nobody from the city of Port Jervis could afford one of those houses. So as far as I know, nobody from the city of Port Jervis has bought one of those houses yet. I would have liked to seen more affordable type housing put in there, something that the citizens of Port Jervis could afford.
Mike McCarthy?
Bob, this was an albatross that we faced for many years. We had to go to a lot of work to get it out of there. I think it is only an asset, particularly to the people that live there. I think Chubb will be the first one to tell you that when that fire whistle goes off, he does not get excited as he used to, thinking it was this fire hazard. It was there, we worked on it, we removed it. We're proud to say that it is now gone.
Okay, thank you. Anybody with a final comment? All right, let's continue the next question. Paul Lester,